Artists, you can see I have rows of simple weave, my basket weave, which is a little bit thicker and puffier, and then I did about 4 rows of simple weave after my basket weave to re-establish the space between my warp strings. Now I'm going to show you box weaving, and box weaving is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to be making a little box, so you can choose how big or how little you want your box to be. So you're going to basically weave just a small section on your loom. And I already have blue, so I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm ended on over, so I'm going to come under, over, and you pick how big you want that box to be. I went over just a little bit over halfway. And then I stopped. And now, instead of continuing, I'm gonna come back. So I ended on an under, and so I'm gonna come back on an over. And you'll just keep going back and forth in that small section that you've established. Making sure you don't pull too tight. All right, and I am going to end that there, because I ran out of thread on that one. Oh, and you know what, before I take that off, since I have enough, I'll show you. I can hide that string just by going through the tunnel that I've got on the edge. And I noticed when I did that, I pulled it up a little bit too tight, so I'm gonna push that back down. And just be super careful when you're cutting those extras off, because you don't wanna accidentally cut your warp string. Okay, so that's hidden, and I've got some that aren't. I'll worry about those later. So you can see I've gotten a little section, more like a rectangle than a box, and I am going to weave some next to it with a different color. So I'm gonna go back to the green that I was using earlier. And you could keep going with that and make that box really tall. You can make it really wide. The point is that you're just weaving in a section of your loom and not over the whole thing. And this is how you can kind of create little rectangular shapes on your loom. Okay, so I'm gonna start over here. Look at, I've got this little rectangle that is empty. So I need to even that out. This one ended on an under. So I'm gonna come and start on an over. Over, under, over, under, over. And then this is the warp string where the two connect, where they're gonna meet up. And so I'm gonna kind of push those strings up a little bit to expose the warp. I'm at over, now I'm gonna come in between and go under. And pull, 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 pull. Leave myself a little tail to tuck it, and then push that down. Okay, so that was an under. Now I'm going to come back with an over. Under, over, under. Pull, pull, pull. Don't pull too tight. I was under, so I'm going to come over. And now this one is going to be between these two. And now I'll come back over, under, over, under, over, under. The rows that you're building should be the opposite of the row that they're on top of. So if it's ever looking a little strange, check yourself to make sure you're doing the opposite. Otherwise the string won't lock in place. Okay, and you can see I need to do, I think, 2 more rows to be equal to what I've woven on the other side. End it on under, come back over. Okay, am I finished? Nope, because I've got 1 more row before they're even. So I'm going to do 1 more row. Okay, now my 2 boxes are even, and you can see I've got a little rectangle here of plain blue and a rectangle over here of a plain weave with green. And I am finishing that up right in the middle. So I'm going to take my string and I'm just going to hide it right there in the middle. And then I'm gonna cut that tail off, being super careful. I'm just cutting the string I was weaving with and not my warp. All right, and that is how you do a box weave.